Soldier brings you today's video. Carnage Crimson Chaos versus Locke, Trostani and Toxrill. We've got some fast mana, but we're going to run out of cards pretty quickly there. I can't really justify getting rid of a hand with all that mana though. We'll just have to keep our fingers crossed. Draw into a land on turn 1. And I'm going to take a turn off for the sake of a surveil here, because we need to just be seeing as much as we can with regards to creatures. That's one of our few flicker means in a Rakdos deck, but nothing to flicker, so it has to go away. Noteworthy for anyone who doesn't know that these vehicles, while they can become creatures, they are not creatures anywhere outside of the battlefield once crewed, so we can't reanimate this thing with something like a Victimize. Okay, and the Toxrill player has played a bounce land on turn 1, so we're probably going to see a Shame Scoop here. This is supposed to be a casual bracket 2 game, so I'm not sure Toxrill really fits the bill there anyway. Does seem to be playing it out, discarded the bounce land. Speaker of Heavens for Trostani. A turn 1 Soaring for the other Rakdos player, so it's a Rakdos deck's game to win here. Into the Eye of Vecna, which is going to allow him to pay 2 and draw a card. Demand Answers is going to be good if we can, I mean obviously it's really in here for discarding creatures, but let's go Soul Ring into the Felwar Stone and we'll be able to Demand Answers during an opponent's turn here. And probably just discard something like the Saw in Half. Nice to see an Urborg from the Dimir player. We do run Cabal Coffers in this list. Trostani gains a life from a tap land, and then this has Vigilance, so swings in towards us and goes up to 42 life. He needs to get to 47 life to make this relevant. A Solemn Simulacrum, some ramp for Locke. Let's go Demand Answers, and just clears even more lands off the top for us. I mean, it was worth casting the spell just for that, but not going well for us. We got into Rick's Mardi, which is another discard outlet, and another land, wow. Well, getting flooded doesn't feel good. Might as well just fix our colours here. But there's really no point in casting our commander because it is an ETB, and we've nothing to reanimate. Plenty of ramp for Trostani, Wild Growth onto a basic, and then a Cultivate. We saw a Mind Stone from the Dimir player. The Speaker goes into the left this time. The Eye of Vecna, our opponent decides to pay into this time, so loses 2 and draws a card. I'm wondering if we should be Chaos Warping onto the Felwar Stone, just for the sake of trying to get something going. Doesn't feel good, but I don't really see what else we're going to do here. The first commander to hit play is Locke, Treasure Hunter. So yeah, I am going to go for the shuffling of Felwar Stone, Chaos Warp it away. Alright, and just gets us into another land. Shocker, might as well get another land out then. Stripping plenty of lands from the library at least. Alright, a Filth. We can just play and sacrifice. It is discard fodder, which we can just use with this. It's one of the few cards that we don't want to reanimate, so our luck just continues to be very poor. Let's activate the land. Everyone can discard a card here. Filth is actually very good with our opponent's Urborg as well. Means that all our creatures are going to be unblockable. We've got 28 creatures in this list, by the way, so shouldn't be struggling like this. But a basic discarded, a Celestine, and another land. Trostani is the second commander to land, followed by an Essence Warden, so he's soon going to get up to that 47 life. Decides to draw a card with the Vecna again. Then we go to get hit by the Locke for 2 commander damage. And we end up milling a Rotting Regisaur, which is something to reanimate at least. A Decanter of Endless Water is no maximum hand size. See what land we draw into next. Okay, a Blade of Selves. Let's look at reanimating with our commander then. Like I said before, that is an ETB, so down it comes. We're going to have to discard at the beginning of our next upkeep, which might just have to be Victimize at this point. Let's put a sack outlet into play just in case, and I think it might be Blade of Selves onto this thing next turn to try and deal a bunch of damage. We can hold up the market and sacrifice something if needs be, but likely put it into this just to... does it hurt our opponents? The Celestia players at 3 cards in hand, we'll see. Noteworthy that Trostani is now at the 47 life. You can only do this as a sorcery, but he will be able to start making angels next turn, and his life will snowball with the Soul Sister effect. Well, everyone ends up with a Soul Ring eventually, apparently. And ramps even further with a Thran Dynamo, so this in typical Toxrill fashion, he's going to get his commander out as soon as he can. Throws down a Sword of Truth and Justice, which will give him protection from blue and white. Sublime Archangel is going to give other creatures Exalted, so swinging with one creature and it is buffed massively. So it looks as though he's going to be turning in with the Speaker of the Heavens, which he'll still be able to tap down at the end of the turn thanks to its vigilance. Currently at 51 life before attacks. And going to the right, with 4 Exalted triggers thanks to his 4 creatures, this will end up as a 5/5 Vigilance lifelink. Blocks with some Simulacrum, so still gains the 5 life, goes up to 56, but Solemn will draw, as we all know. Then taps afterwards to make the Angel, and will gain a bunch of life from his commander, 1 life from the Warden, up to 61 life. Looks as though mana is being paid into the Eye of Vecna again, so down to 32, he has 8 cards in hand, 9 after the draw step. Cavernhorde Dragon, a really good one. We don't control that many artifacts, you have to assume it's going in at Toxrill, which, I mean, we're playing creature decks, so we all have to be looking at Toxrill really. Much as I'd love to be attacking Trostani. A Cursed Mirror after that can come down as a copy of the Cavernhorde Dragon. About to make a huge amount of treasure. Yep, both dragons going to the left, we get the commander. Mills a Morbid Opportunist for us, so I'm wondering if to discard the swamp then so we can reanimate this with Victimize. Anyway, we can't block the commander. Each trigger is going to get our opponent into 5 treasure, or 4 treasure thanks to the 4 artifacts here. So ends the combat phase with 9 and 6 cards in hand. Eladomri's Call. That belongs to the Celestia player, so he gets to cast that with his commander, and that allows him to tutor for a creature straight into hand. Mirkwood Bats after that, ready for seeing the treasure tokens go down. And yeah, that is the card that he tutored for. And I just don't think... I don't think Victimize is going to do much for us, to be honest. We're just going to have to hope for some flicker or something like that onto this. Sacrifice it and reanimate it, something along those lines, which we could do with the Victimize, but I wanted to Blade of Selves this turn. Although if I discard the swamp here, there's nothing to stop us just Victimizing and holding off on Blade of Selves next turn. I think I'll do that. So we can go through to attacks first, and that is a Feed the Swarm. Good to have hold of, but there's no enchantments to go after yet. Let's go straight through to combat. Might just have to discard the Feed the Swarm. Let's go in against Toxrill before we have to start dealing with creatures going down. Maybe if our opponent is going to play Toxrill next turn, then I should have gone for the Blade of Selves thing, because if Toxrill is just going to take out our creatures, then is our stuff going to survive through the next turn? I don't know. Anyway, we have to sacrifice the Regisaur. So then that means we can Victimize the 2 things back into play, mainly to get hold of Morbid Opportunist, or at least try to. Sacrifice our commander, and those things do come into play tapped at least. Our commander goes back to the command zone, and we'll gain the life gain player a couple of life. So we still have to consider discarding to this, while we're not keeping our hand full. I don't really want to play Blade of Selves, and warn our opponents of what's coming, even though we have Feed the Swarm to discard. And unfortunately we can't replay our commander, but I'm not sure we particularly care to anyway at the moment, so... yeah, we're just trying our best to play to our outs here. Morbid Opportunist may well die off to the Toxrill during the next turn cycle, so we can at least play our commander into that maybe. But Toxrill's down to 16 compared to everyone else's reasonable life totals. So there it is, down comes the commander. He can afford to equip it with the sword as well. Might even be worth us keeping Feed the Swarm in order to kill off Toxrill next turn. Need to note that if we do get rid of him, then the Urborg goes down with him. So a slime counter on each creature at the end of the turn is going to take out the 1 toughness creatures, which triggers the Morbid Opportunist for its first bit of card draw. Got rid of the Essence Warden and the Speaker of the Heavens. Couple of slug tokens for the Dimir player, and we're going to start seeing why everyone's ganging up on this guy now. Genesis Chamber is potentially good, but I don't know where all these creatures are. 28 in the deck. Don't really want to play Genesis Chamber into a Toxrill. Path to Exile Oh, he didn't equip up the sword for some reason. Path to Exile. Did he have the white mana held up on the previous turn, Trostani? Anyway, that is aimed at the commander, and it is successfully exiled. Not sure why this mana was being held up. Trelasara. When you gain life, a plus counter on it and scry 1. Luckily the Essence Warden's been dealt with, but we still have Trostani's ETB to worry about. Then decides on populating, now that he has an Angel. So he's going to go north of 70 when the 4-4 lands. 4-4 flyer with Exalted, swings in to the left, and there are 5 Exalted triggers. I think on my next turn I am actually going to leave the Dimir player alone, simply to keep hold of his Urborg, and his Toxrill is going to play nicely into our Morbid Opportunist. Anyway, a 9/9 Angel knocks our opponent down to 7. Brass's Bounty for even more treasure. He had much better luck with his card draw than we have. Mirkwood Bats is seeing treasure being sacrificed, so each of us loses a life to that. Then Reiterate copies an instant or sorcery, so he's going to copy his own Brass's Bounty. Bumps him up to 8 in total, so he made 7. He's going to make another 7 with this Brass's Bounty. Mirkwood Bats triggers on entry of tokens as well. Oh, and has he got infinite now? I didn't read the buyback. He's only 3, so for 6 mana he can just do this with Brass's Bounty over and over. Okay, so anyway, Toxrill went down to the Mirkwood Bats. And when the treasures enter, of course, it's just rinse and repeat. Mirkwood Bats drains us or bleeds us when they enter and when they are sacrificed. He sacrifices treasure for 6 mana to do his buyback spell to copy Brass's Bounty. Brass's Bounty makes more treasure and it's rinse and repeat. So a quick game there. Wasn't too good for us, but I don't think anyone cares about the Spider-Man set anyway, and I'm not wasting any more time trying to get any gameplays this evening. If any of you haven't seen this combo, then it's a cool one to show you all at least. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Massive thank you to the patrons for their financial support of the channel. I'm TribalKai. Thank you for watching.